Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney. Today I'm going to teach you a pretty simple yet extremely useful chocolate technique, and that is how you can make any shape with chocolate. Once you know how to do this, you can get really creative on the things that you make. You can decorate cakes or desserts with the chocolate shapes, or you can even build things with them. One of my all-time favorite things to make are chocolate boxes, and this technique is the foundation for learning how to make those. So let's get started. I'm just going to quickly go over the supplies that you'll need for this technique. Of course, you are going to need some chocolate. Today I'll be using Van Leer dark chocolate snaps. This is a compound chocolate. I'm just using this to make it easy on myself so I don't have to deal with tempering the chocolate today. And then to melt the chocolate, I like to use these silicone cups. They're great because they keep the temperature more consistent. If you've watched my channel before, you've heard me say a million times to avoid using glass because it retains heat and can easily cause your chocolate to burn and be ruined. You will also need at least one offset spatula. I like to have a large one and a couple small ones at the ready. You will also need some acetate sheets, very important. These are what make your chocolate shiny. They look like this. Can you see? There you go. The surface touching the acetate will be shiny on the chocolate. And then you'll also need some tape to secure your acetate sheet. You'll also need a flat sheet tray for transporting your chocolate to and from the fridge. You'll also want some parchment paper to protect your chocolate. And then to create your chocolate shapes, you have two options. The first option is the easiest option, and that is if you have some cookie cutters in the shapes that you want your chocolate to be, you can just use those. But if you need to create a custom shape, you're going to grab some thin cardboard, like the cardboard you can get from a cereal box or cracker box. This is a graham cracker box, and you're going to cut out the shape that you need. And then you'll need a nice sharp paring knife along with your cardboard to cut out the chocolate shapes. So the first thing I'm going to do is set up my little workstation. So I'm going to take my sheet tray, turn it upside down to the flat bottom. I'm going to grab a fresh piece of acetate, just rip it out of the book. I forgot to mention that I'll link all of these supplies down in the description box. So then I'm going to take a piece of tape. I like to fold one end just so I can have something easy to grab onto when I take it off the sheet tray. I'm just going to gently put that on and then do the opposite corner. And I'm just going to do two corners. That should hold it down enough. And then I'm going to have my shapes sorry. I'm going to have my shapes at the ready. I'll put my cookie cutters on one side and my cardboard shapes that I'm going to do on this side so they're easy to grab, and then have the knife ready to go. And don't forget your offset spatulas, and I'm just going to set them off to the side here. Now I will melt the chocolate. And the safest way to melt this is for 30 seconds at a time on power level 5, stirring in between just until it's smooth. Once your chocolate is fully smooth, you are going to pour it on the acetate. And this part takes some trial and error just to know how much to do. But when you're beginning, just do a little bit. I like to use the small spatula to kind of shape the chocolate in a square, well, rectangle like this. And I feel like I can feel how thick the chocolate is underneath better with the small spatula. So I feel like I have more control. So I try to get like a almost even thin layer. And then I take the large one and I just run it across to try to get it like level. It's okay if there are lines like this. This will be the back of the chocolate, so I don't mind all that much. This corner looks thin, so I'm just going to add the extra chocolate to it like this. And then kind of smooth that. So now I'm just going to wait for the chocolate to start setting up, and then I will create the shapes. Now, I don't know if you can tell with the lights. The chocolate is still wet, so it's shiny. You'll be able to tell when it starts setting up because it will look more matte. To test it, I just poke one corner, and if it sticks and has chocolate on your finger, then it's obviously not ready yet. So over here in the corner where it's thinner, when I touch it, it leaves a fingerprint, but it's not sticking. So it's getting closer. It's only been about 1 minute, so just another minute or two and it should be ready. Now, hopefully you can see that near the edges, it's matte and it's not shiny, but it's still shiny in the middle, so it's getting closer. When I touch this edge, nothing on my finger. When I touch the middle, I can tell it's still fluid. Okay, now when I'm touching any area, it's not leaving any chocolate on my finger. So I'm going to start by doing the cookie cutters. You're going to do probably just what you'd assume and just gently press into the chocolate and carefully pull up. The edges can stick, so just make sure you can hold the middle down as you pull up so the chocolate doesn't come up yet. So I'm just gently starting on one end, making sure the chocolate stays down. We'll do this little flower thing, the exact same. Okay, and then for the shapes, you're going to lay them down and just follow the stencil with your paring knife. And then I like to draw a line from a couple edges of the shape. It'll help your pieces not break when they're all set up and done. It just helps me get them out easier by breaking the chocolate around them. So then I'll do this shape the exact same way. I'm not being very efficient right now. I'm not really trying to, but you can be a lot more efficient with laying out your shapes. Oh no, what have I done? Okay, it fits. My little chocolate splat. This is the last one. And once again, just trace around the cardboard. I wanted to show you a round one to show you that you really can do any shape. And at this point the chocolate's getting more firm, but it's still warm enough in my room that it's soft enough to cut through. So, you know, you're not in too big a hurry, but you do want to do this part fairly quickly. Just because I have space, I'll do another butterfly right here. Okay. Now you can maybe see in this corner the chocolate has a wave in it. As the chocolate sets up, it starts, the edges like pull up and it curves. So I'm going to lay down a piece of parchment paper and then grab something to weigh this down with before I put it in the fridge. You can use another flat sheet tray to just put a little weight on the chocolate. Sometimes if I have lots of boxes of butter, I just set the boxes on. They work really well. And you can also just like stack on a couple silicone baking mats, just something to weigh it down. Just, you know, anything. It doesn't take much, just a little bit to keep the edges from pulling up. I'm going to just use this other sheet tray. But it has to be flat. I don't know if this is flat enough. It looks a little curved. So I'm going to stick with the silicone baking mats actually. Changed my mind. And then I'm just adding, I wish I had butter. I'll try this out. Okay, so into the fridge for about 10 minutes. Okay, now I'm just going to unload the weight. And the chocolate is all set up and has seized off. It should be really easy to peel off the acetate. I like to take the pieces on the outsides of the shapes off first, and you can reuse this chocolate. You can melt it down again. And here's the butterfly. You can see it's shiny. A little chocolate splat. A rectangle. And you can add to the shapes. Like I love to put gold leaf on. You know, sometimes there's things that aren't perfect about the shapes. They're shiny. And if like this one has like a marking on the edge, and just put a little gold leaf or luster dust and cover it up. Or you can pipe onto them. I love to pipe onto shapes just with chocolate and give it texture. So they turned out pretty good. Yeah, and then you can just take all your scraps, put them back in your chocolate bag and reuse them another time. One more quick tip. If you are making multiple sheets of chocolate and you want to reuse your acetate, just grab your tape off. Try not to get any chocolate crumbs on the other side because the other side is fresh. And just flip it over, tape it back down, and use the other fresh side because this side is still shiny and hasn't been used yet. Once it's used, I've tried washing them, but then it gets watermarks and they don't really get that clean. So, but you can use both sides. That'll save you some money in acetate. Well, that is how I like to make any shape out of chocolate. I hope that you found this video helpful and learned something new. Comment down below if you're interested in learning how to use this technique to make a chocolate box. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, today's the day. If you'd like to see more videos about chocolate, check out my chocolate playlist on my channel or just click on one of these thumbnails. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.